let us go back a century to 1906. It was the year a Scottish expat by the name of William Ramsay first refined the boot polish he and his partner, Hamilton McKellen, had been manufacturing. What Ramsay did differently, though, was to refine his polish so that it not only made leather very shiny, but it also preserved the leather and restored the color. In fact, he incorporated agents that added suppleness and what was to prove to be his greatest coup, water resistance. It was in 1906 that Ramsay launched his ever-increasingly popular shoe polish under the unlikely name of Kiwi. He named his polish in honor of his wife, Annie Elizabeth Meek Ramsay, who was born and raised in Oamara, New Zealand. The kiwi is not only the national bird, and in fact the national animal of New Zealand, but it is also an affectionate nickname for New Zealanders. Ramsay began marketing his product in Melbourne. He would load boxes of his polish on his horse and wagon and hawk it to the ranchers in the surrounding countryside to protect their boots. So successful was Kiwi that its popularity spread throughout Australia, based solely on its superior performance. By 1908, Ramsay began to export to Britain, New Zealand and Europe. As leather shoes and boots became more affordable to the masses, the demand for a product that would polish them quickly, efficiently and easily grew. The year 1914 was to be the international breakthrough year for Kiwi. It was the start of the First World War that pitted most of Europe against each other in a terrible trench war. Trench warfare brought with it the dreadful trench conditions that were a breeding ground for the most appalling foot rot. The only thing that protected the masses of men in the trenches from this crippling condition was dry feet. And the only way to ensure this was Kiwi's water resistance. As Kiwi's star was on ascendance in 1914, Ramsay died at the age of 46 and was laid to rest in Essendon. By the end of the war in 1918, Kiwi was well on the way to becoming a global brand. The 20s saw an explosion of optimism. The factories were full and the stock markets were climbing. People had money to spend on leisure. Automobiles made it possible to take trips across country. The crash of the stock market in 1929 ended the carefree age of the Roaring Twenties. Kiwi survived the Depression and continued to grow in the post-Depression years. By 1924, Kiwi was sold in more than 50 countries. But it took another world war for Kiwi to break through its last barrier to true globalness, the United States of America. In fact, it became so sought after that Kiwi was the most highly rated bartering commodity, commanding many cartons of Yankee cigarettes for one can of Kiwi. Soldiers returning from the war continued to use the product, creating such a demand that a few years after the cessation of hostilities, Kiwi opened a manufacturing plant in Philadelphia. The 1950s were a period of a return to family, home and business as the Western world attempted to return to a world of capitalist competition and expansion. Kiwi was poised to ride this trend. New manufacturing plants opened in Britain, followed by India, France, Canada, South Africa, Spain and Pakistan. From the complacent culture of the 50s, with its images of men in grey suits, the 60s brought with it a new urge for freedom under the idealistic leadership of the flamboyant and youthful John Kennedy. By 1967, the Kiwi brand became so big and its product range so diverse that all the Kiwi companies were brought together under one umbrella, Kiwi International. In 1984, Kiwi was acquired by Consolidated Foods Corporation, which in turn changed its name to Sara Lee. The 90s brought the world into the electronic age. Cell phones, computers, email and the internet went from technological oddities to necessities. The economy boomed and the world reveled in the affluence by consuming as never before. Today, Kiwi is sold and marketed in almost 200 countries, and with a market share of over 53%, it is the world's leading brand. Yet, even in this technological wonderland, nearly 80% of all corporate executives surveyed believe emphatically that well-cared-for shoes are as important to a person's success as they were in 1906, when William Ramsay filled his first tin of Kiwi. Shoe fashions come and shoe fashions go. Synthetics, plastic, rubber, metal have all had their day and will all come back again. Yet there has never been a substitute for leather shoes. Timeless, classic and totally professional. My shoes are shined and looking good. I look down and know I'm ready. This is a sentiment that will never ever go out of style. And as long as the world believes in itself, Kiwi will be the brand the world turns to for that extra little shine of self-belief. May that shine last another 100 years.
whether you're a brother or whether you're a